everyone, it's Sherry Carroll here with Hero Arts, bringing you a technique called letter tiles with pattern papers. Here is a look at two of the cards that I'm creating for this video. In the first one, I've used a smaller set, and it's a typewriter set from Hero Arts, of course, and white embossing. And here's a close-up look at the letters. I created little banners and have just put them on the top of a tag card. I've used the tag collage stamp set to create the large tag and also cut my paper out, and I've used the snippets from Studio Calico papers for my letter tiles, and this has a lot of fun spring colors. I'll kind of flip through here so you can see these. Anyway, I had white embossed my letters on little pieces of paper, and this is the letter set. It's a Hero Arts typewriter set, and once I had everything embossed, I cut them out and finished my card. I want to walk you through a couple of the letter sets that Hero Arts does have in the clear, and these are great. It's a double set with larger letters, the typewriter set I just used. And we also have lots of sets that are either from Studio Calico or from Basic Gray with great fonts. So there's bold ones, there's the old stencil type, really fine lined, and another bold set which is very open. I think I'll use that. And also there's some alphabet sets that are on mixed sheets and little typewriter buttons and great fonts. So to use a clear set, I am going to use just a regular acrylic block, and for this card I'll be doing Mom, so I only need to pull off two of the letters. So I'll be pulling off M, and I'll go ahead and place this on my block, and also the O, and I'll place it on the other end of my block. Before I get going on my stamping, I wanted to show you some cardstocks that'll really work. These fine printed papers work really well for letter tiles. A pattern like this, which is so busy, won't work as well. This will also work very well. Another pattern that's quite busy, I don't think you'll see your letters show up. A nice plaid will work well. Just ones that are mainly tone on tone will work really well. And here's another one that's really nice and fine. Here's a look again at the card I'll be doing for this video using Mom letters, and I've also created a little window with a heart in the center. These are great spring colors. Since I'll be white embossing, I'm going to use my anti-static bag, and I'm just going to put it onto my cardstock first, and I'm using Versamark ink, and I'll just tap this onto my M. And once I have that well inked, I'll go ahead and place this on my paper. And if you notice, I'm using just scrap paper, and that's what's great when you're doing your letter tiles. Plus, you don't have to worry about your placement when you're putting them on your card. So if you don't stamp perfectly in a line, like I don't, letter tiles are perfect. So once I have that with the embossing powder on it, I'll go ahead and use my heat gun and melt that embossing powder. If you notice, I get a little bit close using my embossing gun, or my heat gun, but that embosses it really quickly, and here's how that looks up close. Next, I want to cut my letters away from the larger pieces so they're more manageable. So I'm just hand cutting around the letters, and I'm leaving a gap or space at the top so that I can go ahead and do whatever treatment I want to when I get to that part. So I'm just making sure I have plenty of room, and I know that I'll be cutting these in a banner cut, so I'm leaving plenty on the bottom. Okay, so I'm doing a throwback thing here. I'm going to go ahead and use my Crop-A-Dile and some eyelets. I've hung on to these eyelets forever, and I still like them, so I thought I would just go ahead and use them again. So here I've just punched the holes with my Crop-A-Dile, and I have some silver eyelets here. I don't know if you're like me, but I do hang on to a lot of old tools, and I still have tons of these, so I thought it'd be fun to use them once again. So once you have the eyelet set, you can go ahead and use your Crop-A-Dile and go ahead and pinch that together, and that sets that eyelet right in place. So I'll do this to the top of all of my tiles, 2 little holes and 2 eyelets on each tile. Next, I'll be using one of the Hero Arts frame cuts, and this is a heart, and I'm using this on the back side of the front panel of my card. So I've taped it in place, and I've gone ahead and cut it. Now I am drawing a pencil line on the inside of the card, and the reason why I'm working on the inside or the back side is so that I don't get that embossed edge that you do when you die cut from the front side. So here I'm placing my heart in place, and I'll run it through my die cut machine. I've also run my front panel through my embossing folder using the chevron pattern. So here I'll just kind of place these together and you can see where the windows line up. And then my tiles will go onto the card. Oops, let me put the M over where it belongs, like this. Now I can start some assembly. I've decided I wanted to add some visual interest to the left side, so here I've cut off about 1/4 inch off my front panel, and also cut a little bit more than 1/4 inch so that I can use my adhesive tape, and that will sit onto the panel like that, so just sitting underneath that left edge. So here I'm just going to use my tape runner, and I'll go ahead and put this on the back side. And of course, you know, since this is bumpy and embossed, the tape runner kind of wants to skip over some of the parts. So make sure you get the adhesive on really good. And so then once I have everything lined up, I'll go ahead and press that down. If you're familiar with my cards, you probably know that I do like to use dimensional tapes and have everything popped up. And I usually hand deliver most of my cards that I make. And so here I'm just adding some of my foam dots to the back side. And I'll use quite a bit so this will sit sturdy. I have added a couple more eyelets to this front panel, and I've strung my little letter tiles with some twine, and I've also put dimensional foam tape on the back side. So I'm going to go ahead and press my letters in place and get them lined up to how I want them, and then I can pull my string tight once I'm done. So I just couldn't get enough of my eyelets. I had to add more to this card. Sorry for my big head getting in the way. So once I have my letters in place, I'll just go ahead and peel this last piece off. And I don't want them perfect. I want them kind of offset just a little bit, so they're not really perfect. But once I have those in place, I can flip this over and go ahead and tie this in a knot. And yes, that's a lot of dimensional tape on the back. So the next thing I'm doing is I've tied little bows from twine, and I'm using my glossy accents here, and I'm just kind of faking the bow. It makes it a lot easier in your assembly. So now I'm just gluing this in place. And so here's how the card looks. I've cut an additional little heart that will be in the peekaboo window on the front. And I'll go ahead and put this together with the other card, and I love the spring colors, and I am ready for spring. So I'll run you back through the finished cards. This is the tag card with the small letters, and I'll do an up close so you can see the little tiny banners. And then also the mom card with the peekaboo window using the throwback eyelets. And here's another close-up. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I appreciate you sticking with me, and thanks for watching.